Military compliance, identify yourself, don't mind if I do. This happened between 2002 and 2005. I must have been around 15 at the time. I'm from a country where the military holds a lot of power and often is included as an aid in police operations. I come from a military family to the point that I and my brothers broke the 3-generation line of military service. At this point in my life, my dad has been politically retired from the military but is very much active as one of the national experts in his field. My dad, late 40s at the time, uncle, mid-40s, and my mom, she would kill me if I revealed her age, but not so far from my dad's, are driving us kids from somewhere outside the city. After a big day of a lot of things that I can't remember, is time to go back home. My uncle is driving, dad is in the passenger seat, mom is behind him and I'm behind my uncle. I think my little brother and cousins are in the back. It was a big SUV. All of this will become important in a moment. Right before the last toll booth to go inside the city where we live, there is a security checkpoint of the sort with 2 uniformed soldiers. The leading soldier waves us down and my uncle starts slowing down when that same soldier points his rifle at us and very aggressively starts pointing to the shoulder for us to stop. My uncle and dad go quiet. My mom face palms and says, "Oh no," with this feeling of "what have you done?" We stop and all the younger generation in the vehicle are told to quiet down and say nothing. I remember being so giddy that I could barely seat. Let's call the irritated gun pointer Sergeant S, and his backup low rank, LR. Sergeant very aggressively comes to the driver's window and orders my uncle to lower his window, which he does, and immediately tries to talk to the sergeant and S. Shut up. When a soldier gives you an order, you do it immediately. You wanted to go past me without stopping. Roar roar roar, MC time. My uncle nods patiently and says in a low tone, "Identify yourself." S. Roar roar roar. My dad, also nodding, "Identify yourself." S. More screaming. Uncle, identify yourself, same tone. At this moment the low rank finished looking in the car, walks behind the sergeant and looks at my dad and uncle, and notices what they are saying. Pause. It is the protocol for a service person to ask whoever you stop to identify yourself first. That person should state their name and position. Doctor so-and-so, engineer so-and-so, if military rank so-and-so, etc. And then show the corresponding ID. Low rank notices that the only thing my father and uncle are saying is "identify yourself" over and over while the sergeant is just ranting. When the sergeant takes a moment to breathe, low rank looks at my uncle and says in a somewhat sheepish way, "Sir, identify yourself." Uncle, Coronel so-and-so. Dad, General so-and-so. The sergeant immediately goes in attention and transforms from African descent to an Irish man in winter in a second. My uncle opens his door, then my dad opens his door, and both doors close at the exact time. That detail I will never forget, and I and my cousins just burst into laughter. My uncle is giving it back to the sergeant and my dad is behind him with his arms crossed. By the time we finally calmed down, the only thing I could hear my uncle say was, "Uncle. And now you will stand there until I can't see you anymore." Low rank. Low rank, "Yes sir." Uncle, "Good job." My dad and uncle get in the car and my dad tells us, the kids, "Tell me when you can't see him anymore, and if you see him move, tells us." And we turned around as if our lives depended on it while laughing our butts off. He didn't move. Some say that he still is there to this day. LMAO.
Now to the comments. All I took away from this is that military security is so lax that all you have to do is intimidate someone with rank and you can get away with murder.
In some places and some ways you are correct.
Did your dad and uncle prove their rank with their identification cards, or is claiming to be high-ranking officers enough?
My dad had a story of the time US President Eisenhower came up to a military checkpoint. Corporal staffing the checkpoint looked at his list, no Eisenhower on the list, did not allow the president, the commander-in-chief of the entire US military, to pass. No, Mr. President, you are not on the authorized list, I cannot let you proceed. Corporal must have been terrified, but stood on his procedure, got a promotion the next day.
Can't the president order himself onto the list? Isn't that how commander-in-chief works? Ha 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 9H, they will love this over in r/military stories. African descent to an Irish man in winter? Black to white? He went white as in scared, I assume.
Yes, obviously. He went so pale that his black face looked like a sun-starved white guy's face in winter. Come on people. This is not racism, it describes what happened very well.
Gave me a good, and funny, image. Guessing as OP chose the initial description of black man that the sergeant and probably everyone involved in the story are both in and from Africa. Found Purim's burner account. Why did he punish the low rank and not the sergeant who was doing the actual screaming without following protocol?
He didn't, he told low rank, good job.
Oh, I guess he switched his attention after the full stop. I liked the story and had no problem understanding. Identify yourself. Yup. It's me. It's racist and unnecessary for any part in telling the story, out of a bunch of different ways to make the point, that is what OP chose to say. Don't make excuses for bigots.
Where is the racism?